Before I start, I would like to ask a few questions. When you have a plan to do something, you're mentally prepared, you're physically prepared, you're ready. How often do you stop and say to yourself, I don't think this is going to work? That, and you've already done something, but instead of this sense of satisfaction, there's just this emptiness, leaving you with the questions, why did I do this? And did I want to do this? Now, being the firstborn of a heritage of nearly 20 children, I won't say that I didn't do this before. But a quote, as cliche as it may sound, a quote changed everything for me. The two most important days in your life are the day that you are born and the day that you find out why. Now, at first, it was just a quote like every other. But then I stopped and I had to look at the meaning and the philosophy behind it. And then just like that, everything had started to change. So I formulated all of my thoughts into one clear question. How would I find out why I was born and then chase that religiously, hoping that I would be capable to attain what I wanted? Now, the short answer to that question is to believe in yourself. Why does everyone look so disappointed? I don't mean believing in yourself to the point that you can say, I can, and leaving at that. No. What I'm going to do here is teach you how to visualize success before failure and triumph before defeat. But in order to do that, you have to be able to do three things. And firstly, you have to have a vision. Essentially, a vision is what we want to believe we can do. And it is extremely important because without a vision, you are basically the captain of a ship that has no map. And it's what we're going to aim towards achieving. It is our goal. But that's a slightly vague explanation, so let me get into detail. Now, most of us in our daily lives are in a way dragging our feet. We say, why do I have to do this? Why do I have to go to work? Can't the money just fly into my account? And when we do this, our lives start to drag their feet along with us. But when we have a clear vision, clear understanding of why we're doing what we're doing, everything becomes 10 times easier. An interesting way to look at it is an activity that I thought of. I want everyone to put out their dominant hand. Now, at first, your hand may feel light as a feather, but I want you to imagine all your goals, all your passions, everything you want to own. The Ferrari you want to buy, put it on your hand. But now, we have a vision, we understand why we want that Ferrari, and we know how we're going to get it. So we tie it around, and it pulls it upwards for us. I personally, at some point in my life, didn't have a vision. I would wake up and treat every day like every other. Why do I have to go to school? Why do I have to write the essay? The teacher should do their own homework. So I understand why having a vision is extremely important. But my advice to those of you who may not have a vision, firstly, it is normal. It is a part of the learning process. Everybody went through it. But my advice to you, when looking for your vision, is to listen to nothing but your heart. Because your passions are in your heart, and your logic is in your brain. When you start logically thinking about what it is you want to accomplish, and you see all these dreams that look gigantic, you start asking yourself, can I really do that? Yes, you can. But if you keep thinking about it logically and saying, look how many people have failed, look how many people couldn't do it, you're going to end up failing. So I'm going to assume that now everyone has a vision. What next? You have to become more. A quote by the German poet perfectly summarizes this. In order to do something, you must first eat something. In order to do what it is you would want to do, you must first become someone who is capable of doing those things. Now, a good way to do this is by finding your talent, capitalizing on your God-given ability, or learning skills and gaining knowledge that allow you to become that person that you want to be. And this is the hardest part of the entire process. It's the months out of the big three. Because of two main reasons. Firstly, if your vision was slightly off, if your vision by any chance, by any tiny percentage wasn't yours, you are going to become a person that you do not want to be. Secondly, because it's the only part of the process that involves physical work. And when there's physical work involved, there's procrastination. So my advice to you is to know know it to the dot, who you want to be, and then chase that person, chase becoming that person. Let becoming that person become your drive to be better. Congratulations, we have become what we believe in. What's next? The last part of the process is to eliminate self-doubt. Now, when I say this, I mean you have to get rid of it entirely. The idea of letting doubt from outside or within you phase you. By taking it to heart that not everyone is going to believe in what you do. And I remember clearly the week that I wanted to start my business. I went around asking people that I put my trust in, to be there for me when I needed them. I went around asking them, would it be a bad idea to sell food in school? Even I thought it was a bad idea at the time, but I was hopeful that these people would push me, motivate me to do it. But the expressions were and will forever be burnt into my eyes. It was this mixture of confusion, shock, doubt, and their laughter after, thinking that I was joking. Now, at the time, the only thing I could do was run to my room, lay flat on my bed, and stare at my ceiling, and ask myself, why did I say that? Why did they need to know? Why did I tell them? But something about me that day, something, I don't know what it was, changed. And I started having former me would never have had. I started to remember all the times that I had the same idea as someone, but just because I was too scared to execute, I missed out on all the rewards, all the benefits, all the praise. I started to remember all the times that I fumbled under pressure. I started to remember all the times that I felt selfish for doing something that was beneficial to me. But what most enraged me, what angered me, was when I noticed that I had let ideas, values, ideals, goals that weren't mine shape me into someone that I wasn't. And I'll tell you what I did. That day, I said to myself, if everything I do, irrespective of whether it is good or bad, is going to be criticized, then I'm going to do everything I do for myself. If I want to give out to the homeless, I'm not going to do it because someone told me to. I'm not going to do it because someone said it's good. I'm going to do it because I know it is good. I walked to my grandmother's house and I said to her, looking her dead in her eyes, I said to her, "Grandmother, I want to sell food in school." She had the same look as everyone else on her face. But whether it was the environment or whether it was the newborn sense of confidence that I had, I wasn't ready to take no for an answer twice. So I said to her, "I am not joking." She instantly switched her expression to one of seriousness, as expected. That day, I left her house with 200 bottles of 2 beverages. And as fate would have it, a club exhibition. So I took it upon myself as a challenge to test my salesman skills. The night before, I just prayed my night prayers, and I knelt down and I said to God, most of you don't know, but God is my best friend. I said to God, "God, I've decided to go through with this. Please let me shine." Ladies and gentlemen, I walked into school first day with 400 bottles of 2 beverages. And 3. One for myself, one for my grandmother, and another one for myself, because I was thirsty. So what I'm trying to say here, and I'm trying to make you understand, is that you could be on the cusp of something revolutionary, something mind-blowing, something amazing. But those words that you said to yourself, and those words that people said to you, "What if I can't do it? What if you don't do it? What if you go wrong? What if it goes wrong?" could cost you your place in history. Now, on a final note, To all my firstborn brothers and sisters, second-borns, third-borns, fourth, fifth, 18th, 27th, 98th, 205th. My advice to you is don't do anything that you do not feel is right. Because at the end of the day, whether it is right or not, the only person who is capable of changing you is you. Thank you.